Star Crown Vic, what's up, man? Aiden, what's up? What's up, everybody? Haven't been on here in a while. What's good, homework? ADTR is already here. Guess we can get him on here. Today we'll be featuring ADTR. Chris from ADTR Performance will be talking to us today about his brand and Panthers. So it should be pretty fun. I got some questions here for him. I'm pretty sure G has some questions as well. So let's invite these guys in. I wish there was a way for us to all just like join live at one time, without me. Um,
Hey,
hey, what's up?
how's
How's it going?
everybody doing?
Pretty good. It's nice to finally meet you.
Nice to be on here, man.
Yeah, I think waiting for G to get on here. So how's everything going with you? The one and only Chris from
Ca-
ADTR.
Cannot complain. It was a good weekend. Never long enough, but can't complain too much.
Yeah, I've always said there's not enough time in a day. That's how I feel sometimes. I can
Yeah,
only imagine
yeah.
how you feel.
Uh, yeah. We keep pretty busy. Need to
Yeah,
hire somebody for sure. There's just not enough time in the day.
yeah. So how many cars are you running like out of your shop right now?
Um, Too many to remember off the top of my head.
I can imagine.
We got two, four. There are six in the shop right now.
Yeah.
Um, and all of them but Joe's are mine. So,
Wow.
um, yeah, I can definitely give a tour, but yeah, gotta collect them all, right?
Yeah, you have
So,
to. That's everybody's dream.
yeah, and I mean, luckily, I have been able to make it work because of the business, and
Yeah.
my wife can't give me too much grief. And they were relatively inexpensive. Now prices are going up, but yeah, it's
Which
uh,
is a good
you know,
thing for you, though.
yeah. Well, it's a good thing. Um, it's not good that they're more expensive now, because we want more people to buy them.
Yeah, of
So the
course.
more people buy them, the cheaper they are. The better. The more people can go do fun stuff with it.
Yeah,
So,
true.
like, the Spec P71 series is awesome because it's the cheapest way to get into road racing,
Yep.
I think, and the cars just take a beating.
Yeah.
So it would be nice to be able to have the cars a little bit less expensive, but I think things will adjust hopefully pretty
Yeah.
soon.
I wanted to actually speak about that tonight. If I'm not mistaken, you won like the championship at Spec P71 last year.
Yeah, I barely beat out Doug
Oh my
uh,
goodness, that's
by
crazy.
like less than. I mean, I don't even. It's not points. It's like less than like half a point. It was a really tight battle.
That's crazy. That's real crazy. What's up, G?
What's
Yo,
good, man? Let me
how we
Got
doing?
one.
try to join again because the volume is real low. So
All right.
I'll jump out and come back in.
Sounds good.
We can hear him perfectly.
We can hear you pretty fine though. Oh, yes, he's gonna jump back in. So, but yeah, that's pretty impressive. Was that your first time racing?
No, I've been doing it for a couple of seasons, but I just pushed really hard and tried harder. And just the more hard, the better.
I think you might be covering the microphone, or maybe it's my phone. Yeah. There we go.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, so my bad.
It's all good.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I think that was my second or third season, and just the more comfortable I am in the car, the better I was doing. But now I really need to put in a lot more work to get better. There are guys that are significantly faster, and I just need to be more comfortable at the limit, and I'm just not there yet.
So what's like top speed aspect P71?
It depends. It depends on the track.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, definitely depends on the track. I mean, some tracks like I know probably one of the sketchiest things was when Auto Club Speedway was still open, going 130 miles an hour into what was NASCAR turn number one, um, with a Crown Vic,
That must
and
have been
just
that must have been terrifying.
it was the first time was terrifying, the second time was terrifying, but you kind of get used to it after a while.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It really is.
I could imagine. It sounds fun. Are you familiar with the guy Big Russ Racing?
Yes.
He,
Yeah,
he
yeah,
does,
definitely. He just manual swapped his car.
yeah, and he drifts that thing. It's pretty impressive.
It, it is really impressive. He's invited me to come out to one of his events, and I just haven't had a chance to get up there. But I
Yeah,
know that as soon as I do go, I'm gonna get hooked, and then I'm gonna have to create a drift Vic. But I don't need any more projects. I'm
but
done.
you just turn the rocket couch into a drift car, and
Yeah, yeah. I've got way too many projects, and the shop is for me a mess because the Marauder's engine is still out of the car. Joe's got Casper ripped apart. The couch is always in pieces. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff everywhere.
I believe it.
So while we're on the topic of those cars, which out of your cars is your favorite and why?
Ooh, probably. Um, Uh, I don't know. It's been so long since I've driven the couch, but like this was my first car. It's what I mean really prompted me to start ADTR, because there wasn't aftermarket support for these cars, and so I just created aftermarket support. Um, but like I love my Marauder, and the fact that it is the rarest color. Like I'd never seen a blue one in person before, and when it came up for sale, I was just like, oh man, I gotta buy it. And like I think I've created the most memories in that car. Like I take the kids to car shows, and it always gets lots of attention. It's got like all of the creature comforts and all of the best that the Crown Vic had to offer, and then it's got the Cobra motor, and then we added our supercharger and air suspension and everything else to it. So it's a good rolling billboard for the business, and I think that's probably my favorite. But when the couch runs again, then we'll talk. I have a feeling that's going to be my new favorite.
Okay, nice. How many miles are on the couch?
You know what? What? I don't know. Let's find out.
Like,
Oh, actually, I can't. It's got the Holly Dash in it. I want to say like 107,000,
that's
maybe.
it. That's crazy.
So yeah, and I mean, it looks the way that it does because it sits around.
That's
It never
that's
goes outside. So
crazy.
it's always getting tinkered on, and like everything was gutted and roll cage put in, and I just haven't had time to make it a priority because I've been so busy with everything else. But it's so close now. It's like it's gotta get
That's
done.
a good thing.
So it is a priority. I mean, I literally just picked up parts for it the other day. Um, I've got some friends that are going to help me re-engineer this bracket because right now I've got a belt issue, and that's the main reason why it's not starting right now, because the belt tensioner doesn't have enough travel the way that it was designed, because we made this work with a Vortex supercharger. And so we're going to change the tensioner design and make it a manual tensioner, but this whole front bracket piece is all going to get redesigned. Um, and then once that's done, like it's all, finish putting all the hoses on, fill it with fluids, and then get it tuned.
And then bring it to spec P71.
No, this car definitely only goes straight. So eventually it's going to be uh, solid enough that I'm going to be comfortable with a bunch of spares to take it on like drag
Yeah.
week. That is my ultimate goal, to be able to take this, go enjoy drag week. Because I went in 2019 with a customer, and it was so much fun. Like I've got to do it with my car. So I mean, what a great testament to, you know, a good build if it can survive drag week. I know I'm not going to win it, but just to be able to survive it would be fantastic.
Yeah, I believe that.
So what's the best that's run at the track?
Uh, hmm. It's been so long. I don't even think that it made a solid pass, because um, there were always issues. And so like it was, you know, two steps forward, one step back. Um, you know, we'd make a lot of progress when Lonnie from Blue Oval Chips came out, and it never worked perfectly, or it never worked well. And because of the tuning, I I couldn't do it. And I, you know, trusted other people to do it. And because the combination is so radical, I basically got frustrated with it, gave up, and said, "Screw it, we're going to Holly." So I know I don't know how to tune Holly yet, but I do know that there are a lot of competent tuners that, you know, can come with me to the racetrack and help me get it dialed in. And, you know, I can take classes on how to tune with Holly. So that was the motivating factor. And then it's like, okay, well, we're gutting the whole car to rewire it all. Let's get the cage done, because ultimately the goal is at least in the nines, and ideally fast enough to require the parachute. So hopefully, you know, hitting 150 in the quarter. And I mean, like, anything in the nines, I think, would make me happy for now, and just go out and have fun. So I think the fastest it ever went was like in the 11s, maybe. But again, it's been so long.
150 is pretty fast, though.
It is. It is. Especially for, you know, a full weight car. I am
Yeah.
not. It's still going to have the terrible '90s porno red interior.
Oh,
I
that looks
think.
good.
I
That looks
think
good.
I'm going to paint the cage red as well, just because that way it'll all blend in. So it's like it's going to be a race car, but with street car stuff.
That's pretty cool.
Derek loves arrows, so
Yeah, Arrow's like my favorite
Well,
Panther.
we've got a soft spot for 92s. So I love the no grill uh,
That's something that
Thunderbird
that's something that actually
Taurus kind of
gets
look, you know.
noticed. So only
So
the
yeah,
92s came with no grill like that.
correct. Yeah. 93 had 93 and 94 had the same grill, and then I think um, yeah, 90 95 96 97 was the same.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So, do you want to explain exactly what made you start ADTR for those who may be unaware?
I mean, this car actually. So this car was my first car. Um, my parents got me a car, which was really nice of them. But, and like a ungrateful kid, I asked if I could sell it and get a Mustang like all my friends. And they said, no, you're going to drive that and be happy with it. And I
Yeah.
asked them if I could modify it. And they said, yeah, sure. What are you going to do to a Crown Vic? And so luckily, one parts guy was kind of thought outside the box. He's like, there's nothing for a Crown Vic, but it's basically it's a 4.6 single overhead cam. So you can use the Mustang stuff. Why don't you try that? And so like I had in my mind planned on, putting the Ford Performance supercharger on it and doing all of these things. And I just started tinkering with them and created parts for my car that I wanted. And then people said that they wanted it too. I'm like, all right, cool. So it just slowly grew. And it was a hobby business for a long time. I was running a couple of auto shops and managing all of them. And um, it just grew so much so that it was really difficult to do all of that. And then I took the big jump and ended up making it my full time. And it grew, and then it grew so much so that, we ended up getting the commercial spot so that I could get all of the cars and all of the parts out of the house so that my wife didn't kill me. It's just gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. And the cars, I feel like, have gotten a lot more popular. So that has also helped things.
So what does ADTR stand for?
Now it stands for All Data Race, which is what we really wish we had. But back in the day, when my friends and I started the business, it was Angry Duck Tofu Racing, which
That's really cool, though.
no companies took us seriously. I thought it was a stupid name, and really we were just starting the business so that we could get discounts on parts. We weren't really planning on like doing anything with it.
Yeah.
And then it just grew and grew and grew. And so I always went by ADTR because I thought that the tofu thing was stupid. And that was from a late night session of watching Initial D. I don't know if anybody's watched that.
Someone actually just mentioned that in the comments.
Yeah, exactly. So ADR was a wheel company, or I think maybe they're still in business. And I'm like, okay, well, we can't do that. What should we do? And the answer was tofu. And so ADTR was born.
That's really cool. Imagine if it still would have been Angry Duck Tofu Racing.
There are some of the original people, that have been around for a long time, and they're like, you need to bring back the tofu. And I'm like, really? It's so dumb. Are you kidding? So we are thinking about making a shirt. I've just got to get my artist to do the work, but like a drift shirt, and then kind of make it an homage to the tofu drift car, white with black with the tofu name on the side of the door and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
that would be funny. That's hilarious. I always wonder what it stood for too. I've never gotten to ask you. I don't think I did. Now I know. That's too funny.
Now you know. It's all about the tofu.
Oh, well, do you even like tofu personally?
Personally, no, I hate it.
Okay, yeah, I've heard it's nasty. It doesn't look good. The texture doesn't look right.
Yeah, the texture thing just doesn't work for me.
Yeah, I feel that.
So
what is? Go ahead, G.
What is probably like your best-selling item for Panthers?
Probably the sway bars. The sway bars, working with IBOC has been amazing. They've elevated the product so much more. I used to sell the other brand, and they were good, but it took forever to get stock orders in, and really the product wasn't as good as I wanted. And so after starting to work with IBOC, the quality is significantly better finish. So like those are probably our biggest moving items. What else? Like the supercharger systems, we sell a decent amount of them for how expensive they are. Um, we're the only company that makes one, for a Crown Vic, which is kind of cool. It's everything that you need in a box. So being able to make that, I mean, like it's kind of like a dream, because it's like, I know the first thing that I wanted to do with my car as a kid was supercharge it. And so to have that out there, really any part that didn't exist before, to have a part available for the masses is pretty damn cool.
So, Lee, since we're going on that topic, just real quick, because we did have somebody, Derek had made a post to ask a question in advance, and one of the questions was when you will have the pedal kits back available for the manual swaps.
$1 million question. So my fabricator is just always busy, and he's kind of fitting these in as he can. So we have 25 of them being made, and I'm hoping to have them within another month or two. If anybody is interested, to just reach out and hit me up. We've got a waiting list that we're putting people on, and as soon as they are available, we'll be contacting the people on the waiting list first, and then I mean, once we have everybody taken care of, then we'll start putting them back up available on the webpage. But I really want them. I want them in stock. I want to have 20 of them sitting on a shelf. But it just seems like as soon as we get a batch, they sell out like immediately, which is amazing. It's a great problem to have. It just, we can't scale up fast enough.
So since
Yeah, I was out with
no, you can go ahead, G.
I was out with Never Ending Car Project today with his supercharged, because we both have your hydraulic pedal kit in our cars with the 3650. So
That
we
car is so cool. It makes all the right noises.
oh yeah, it's like so. But yeah, so he hadn't been in my car since we did the 373s in it, so had him let him drive mine, and it was like, just had fun. I mean, so thank you for the pedal kits for those. So.
No worries. A manual swap is just so much fun. It makes it so much more enjoyable to drive, and really makes you kind of one with the car and connected, more so. Like, it's just so much of a better driving experience with a manual over an automatic. Like, I love like being able to just point and shoot an automatic, but like to be able to like drive down the canyon roads, and you can drive it like grandma, you can drive it like you stole it. It's you can be as aggressive or not aggressive as you want.
Yeah, it's definitely a whole different experience with it. The only thing that sucks is city traffic, but
Right. Yeah. I mean, for a daily driver, if you have bad city traffic, yeah, probably. You just got to be ready for it, I guess.
So, off the top of your head, is there any specific build that's bought any type of parts from you that's your favorite build?
Ooh. Uh, uh, that's a hard one. I mean, the thing is, like, I enjoy the build process. Um, I think more than the final product. So like, it's cool to be able to be involved with customers' builds and kind of live vicariously through them.
Yep.
It's a lot less expensive, so I can be like, oh, you should do this, you should do this. What would and they ask me, oh, what would you do, what would you do? I'm like, oh, I'd do this, and they go, oh, that's a great idea, and then they do it. Then I don't have to do it.
Yeah.
and I can be like, oh, that turned out awesome, you
Yep.
know. So it's like I get kind of the satisfaction of building it, but not actually.
That's, saves you a lot of
Uh,
labor.
I I can't off the top of my head. Um, I mean, like I really like John, the scary Vic or the scary Marauder.
Oh, Stereo
Um,
3, yeah. His
yeah,
car is one of my favorites, man.
it's
That
so
car,
it's so stupid clean. Like
yeah.
that is my. I want everything to be perfect. I want it to look like $1,000,000 and go fast. And that car, I think, was the first one that we did with. Oh, what was it? It was a black gear case with a polished volute, I think, on the supercharger, or maybe I've got that backwards, but just something different to set it apart from everybody else. That car is just stupid clean. But
Everything
I
about
can't.
that car.
When you
Even
see it in
understand.
person, it's even like
Yeah,
it's
man.
yeah,
That car is crazy.
yeah.
Uh, I mean, what are okay? So I'm going to throw it back at you. What is your favorite build?
Stereo 3 is definitely one of my favorites. It's been one of my favorites for a while. There's another guy. I just posted his car. I think it's like Mayhem Vic or something like that. I think his build is really cool too. There's like a million of them. Plus the arrows that you have. And then you have G's car, then you have Homework's car. I can't really choose
Yeah,
anybody's car.
I would have to say, Big Booty Judy.
Oh
Oh
That
yeah,
car,
yeah.
like
yeah.
the amount of detail in that engine bay alone is insane. I I love little details,
Mm.
and it's like my little details are here. His are like well beyond. Like it's crazy the amount of work that's into that car that it just it's like it's amazing.
Yeah,
That's the what is it? The root beer brown. Is it an Arrow Grand Marquis?
it's like a 2000 or 99
Oh,
Grandma.
okay,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
okay, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, it's I mean when you hear it, it doesn't even sound like a 4.6. Like when he rolled into Carlisle, like I was like, I don't think that's a 4.6. So it's just like I said, the detail to that car and the engine bay, like all the little touches of stuff that is like it's amazing.
yeah. Yeah. That car is. And what's crazy, that car is wrapped. That just the paint alone, it's actually a wrap. And that was their first
Oh, it's
time.
a wrap.
Yeah,
Oh, I
Yeah,
didn't
it's
know
a
that.
wrap.
freaking
Yeah,
crazy. And
yeah.
they said it was their first time wrapping a car. So I mean, they did a pretty good job.
Yeah. And I would have to say also the Law LSX, even though it's not Ford powered. I love
Yeah,
like that car just rips.
yeah,
Yeah, and Cameron has been chipping away at that for a long time, and it's like every single time he does something, it just gets better and better and better. And I agree. It's not a Ford motor. I'm a purist. Like if it's a Chevy, you put a Chevy motor in it. If it's a Ford, you put a Ford motor in it. But you can't deny how fast that car is. And like he just keeps going faster and faster and faster. And so like originally when I was building the couch, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make, enough power to be able to put Cameron, in his place. Yeah, I'm not gonna try that. He's gotten that car like it's a dedicated race car. Like I know he can drive it on the street and uh, it's street-ish, but no, that's another level. I don't think I'm going to take the couch that far.
he's actually gonna be on here December, G.
Uh, yeah.
Yeah, so that should be interesting.
He's good
Yeah,
people.
that's what's up. So I'm not sure if I should ask this question, but I'm going to. The Ford Performance Intake. The new,
All right.
any,
So
yeah,
it's all so new. Um, like the information that's even on Ford's webpage with the part number and all of that, it's great. but it says that it requires Ford gaskets, and they give a link to the part number for the Ford gaskets. And then in the dyno videos, whatever Mustang site was that did that dyno video, I think it's LMR maybe.
Yeah.
It showed the gaskets were built into it like a Dorman. So Ford doesn't even have their information on their webpage correct. I'm not saying anything about it until I get my hands on it. And I mean, ultimately, I want to install it on one of the cars. Ginger, my spec car, has a Dorman on it, and it had a Dorman on it when I bought it. So I may do that and do like a before and after and see if there's a difference. I think even if there's not a difference performance-wise, it's still way better than the Dorman intake because it's got the brass inserts for the coil on plugs. It's got, the non-plastic heater nipple. I guess they changed something with the crossover, so it's not it doesn't seal onto plastic, which then seals to the head. I think it seals directly with the head, if I saw that correctly. So like all of those improvements, and it's being sold by Ford Performance. I mean, I'm going to sell it just because that's really the best option that's available.
Nice. I know a lot of people have their opinions about it, and I know you're going to be offering it soon, so I figured I'd ask you so they can hear it from you directly. So.
That's why I'm glad of, like, the other year I picked up a brand new OEM Ford one, and it's sitting in my basement.
Right.
Yeah.
I figure it's going to need it one day.
Yeah, I'm sure you're going to need it, but you could also just go the opposite way and just modify your car so much so that the Edelbrock will be a perfect fit, and then you don't need to worry about the Ford intake.
Yeah. Well, I'm ended up going with that 5.4 we talked about, so that's it's like a 2-year project, but
that's a lot to chew. So yeah, that's gonna be fun, but yeah, it's gonna be a lot of work.
Yeah. Well, the cool thing is, I found out my friend I got the motor from and getting the Mustang from, his buddy races Mustangs, and his good friend has a shop in Easton, PA. Speed shop, machine shop. He's actually one of the people that helped develop the trick flow heads. So
yeah, that's a great contact to have.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm sure I'll be getting him to do some of the work on it. So
yeah, get his input on how to make it faster.
yeah. So what do you got going on with that?
So Joe's got that intake manifold leak, so he's
taking.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, so he bought Casper, which was our product development car, and it's kind of cool because it's like I've got visitation rights, like it's still it's in my shop, it's tucked away safe after it got stolen. Like I'm like, Joe, you got to keep this thing safe. So it's here. I'm able to poke and prod things if people have questions on something, or like how's the supercharger supposed to fit here or whatnot. I'm able to pop the hood and refer to it, which is kind of cool. But yeah, this is not mine. This is Joe's. So yeah. This is Casper.
That car is in my top 10.
Yeah.
It's a really cool car, and I mean, Joe took it to another level with the paint. Like, he took it down to metal and made it just pop. I mean, it's so blindingly white in the sunlight with all of the pearl.
He's in an issue of the magazine, and one of the photos he sent me is like in the desert, and the sun is like beaming on it. I can just tell how clean that paint is in that photo.
Yeah, and he does detail work, and he is just as anal as I am, and so he wants it as close to perfect as possible, but he does, actually take it on canyon runs, and he is toying with the idea of maybe taking it to a track day, but I don't know. It's so nice. Like he's worried he's gonna, you know, go off track or somebody's gonna spit something up and it's gonna pepper the front end. And so I don't know. For now, he enjoys it. He drives this thing a lot. He's like, well, what's the point of having it if I don't drive it? I'm like, nope, you're right.
Yeah, you gotta drive the car.
Yeah. Yep. I know. I got to work on that.
Yeah.
This one I drove the other day. It was nice
Yeah,
taking her out.
how's that running? I was on the cover of issue 16. I
Yep.
love that car.
Yeah. No, Betty's good. I think my problem is I just get bored with the cars after a while, and like I bought this mainly for the interior because I was going to take the good parts of that and put it in the couch. But then I'm like, it's a freaking race car. It doesn't have to be perfect.
Yeah.
And this car is too perfect to cut up. And so I'm going to end up keeping this um, basically stock inside here. I'm going to put that car's frame underneath it, do an 03 Plus frame swap, and then it's going to be Coyote swapped.
Oh, dang.
So I love the ride. I love how it looks, but it's too quiet. It's stock. It doesn't have any performance stuff done to it. It's just suspension.
So that car
And
is completely soft. Like there's no noise coming from that car.
nope.
Wow.
Because I'm like, why am I going to bother putting, headers on a 462 valve that I'm going to eventually Coyote swap in a different frame? So it's like they wouldn't even be able to be the right headers anyway. So, and then it's like, I'm like, oh, I could do this. I could do this. And I'm like, no, why am I going to be messing with it? Like all of this is going to come apart as soon as I do it. So I'm trying to, I don't know, be smart about it.
That interior is.
I'm getting bored with it, and like out of my fleet, the Marauder's down, the couch is always down. I need something that's fun and stupid. So I've got to get one of them working.
And that's where Betty comes in. So do you drive Betty often though?
Not as much as I want to because of the kids, like dropping the kids off at school. When I had Vincent, my shop dog, he would have just destroyed that interior. So
And that's a nice interior too.
yeah. Oh, it's yeah. It was a grandma, and I mean the thing when I got it, I think had like 70,000 miles on it.
That's crazy.
So yeah, so I don't drive them as much as I'd like, and really the one that gets the most miles is the spec car because I'm competing in it all the time, but or not all the time, but 6 or 7 times a year. So yeah, we got to get them out. People aren't going to be able to know of us or see the cars unless the cars actually leave the shop. So we're working on it.
That's pretty cool. So, is there anything that you dislike about the Panther platform?
I mean, I hate how like I love the 462 valve because it's indestructible, but I hate the 462 valve because it doesn't make any power. So you have to really add a supercharger to get any sort of power out of it. And then when you do that, like you're limited because the stock bottom end can't handle more than 420-ish to the tire. So then you're going to have to build with forged internals, and it just makes it so much more expensive. And then like now that you've got the Coyotes, you've got the Godzillas, you've got all these other engines that you can put in the cars, but there's a lot of just misinformation out there, and people, when they go, oh, well, I'll just Coyote swap it. Okay, go for it. Like, I want to see people doing stupid stuff with these cars, even if it means that they're not buying the parts from me. Go out and do something stupid with it. Like the more people that see Crown Vics doing stupid things that they're not supposed to do, it, gets more exposure for us. It helps everybody with a Crown Vic, and I mean like the coyote swap thing is getting more realistic, I would say. The prices are going, down, I think, and you can find better deals on it. But there's so much that's really needs to be done to make it fit. Um, Whatever the number is that you think it's going to cost, take it and double it. And then that's how it's going to, I mean, that's really what it's going to be. And then for us, like if we sell a product, our products are always going to be more expensive than if you piece it together yourself. Um, yes, a 462 valve is a 462 valve. You can make stuff fit for Mustangs, but for us, our stuff is going to be as idiot proof as possible, and it's going to be repeatable so that we know we can stand behind our product. So like after the couch is done or running, it's never going to be done, but once the couch is running, the next focus is the frame swap and coyote swap on Betty, because I've got so many people that are asking for, swap parts. I want to make things that are specific for Crown Vics to make it easier to swap. Physically putting the motor in is not the problem. It's making everything work. So if we can do some sort of like plug and play harnesses or something like that to make it easier for the masses to do, that's kind of what our plan is.
Nice. I was going to ask you if you had plans to do some coyote swap stuff. So
yeah, everybody wants swap kits, but like it's going to be so expensive because our stuff is going to be the best of the best, because that's how we always do it. We always over engineer it or do our best to use the best product available. But then people are going to have to go buy a motor. People are going to have to buy other parts to make it fit. Like that was one of the complaints about our 6-speed swap kit, is that it's so expensive. Well, yeah, it's expensive because it includes a brand new T56 Magnum. Like
yeah,
that's not a cheap transmission, right? And that included all of the options and everything. With the 5-speed swap kit, it's kind of the meat and potatoes of the swap, but you can decide, oh, I want this shifter handle, I want this knob, I'm going to run a console, so I need this boot. Like there's so many options and variables. Like we didn't have like a complete plug and play kit for the 5 speeds. Also because like a lot of people do that trying to be on a budget, going and getting
yeah.
a junkyard trans, brings the cost down quite a bit. So the 462 valve is a great motor, but it's a bad motor all at the same time.
Yeah.
So that's the long and short answer to it.
Yeah. Well, we had Pierre on here, and we talked about the fact that like even the manual swap, like people hit me up about it, and I'm like, look, like there's things that when you start, especially if you got like a northeast car, car from a Rust Belt area, it's like, we had to replace my starter. We had to put new flanges on the, exhaust manifolds, like, because everything was just rusted. I had to get my drive shaft rebuilt. Like, there's just a lot of things that it's never as easy as you think, especially with the car with the rust areas. Like,
Yeah,
it's,
whatever problems you think you're going to run into, take that, double it, and then you'll be kind of on track.
Yeah. So how much time would you say you spend in the shop?
Actually working on cars a week?
Working on cars or getting parts together? And
Well, I mean, like, I am at the shop every day, well, Monday through Friday for sure, from like 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m., I'd say,
yeah,
every single weekday. But like the actual hours that I'm out here in the shop, working on the cars is probably like an hour.
Okay.
Nothing. Well, I can't say nothing. Very rarely do things get done out here.
Yeah.
Joe helps me quite a bit, getting projects done here and there. But I mean, it's a blessing that we're busy, but it's also a curse. So I'm emails, phone calls, putting in orders everywhere, and then shipping everything. So
I
I'm
feel
gonna be putting in a lot of hours soon. I'm getting the Marauder engine back. So here's a sneak peek of the parts that are going to be going on it. So I have the intake manifold, uh, the valve cover coils polished and ceramic cleared. So it's gonna be amazing. It's gonna make that engine compartment look like $1,000,000.
It's going to be blingy.
Yeah, yep. Got to keep up with John.
Yeah, it's not like Scary's car.
Yeah.
Big shout out to Panther Lights. Panther Lights just entered the.
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah.
He's good people.
Yeah, since I just want to shout out Hoonwork. He's tied up with work, working crazy hours, and condolences out to Dale. His father-in-law passed away,
Oh
so
no.
yeah. So we haven't really heard much from him. He's dealing with that. I did hit up Marty a little while ago and I invited him, but he wasn't anywhere that he could. I was going to ask him to co-host with us, but he wasn't anywhere that he could jump on. So shout out to him as well. So I felt bad asking him because I know how much he's got going on too. But I just figured, well, I know he was looking forward to trying to log in to watch it. So shout out to him as well because he would have jumped on if he could have.
Marty is hilarious. I love Marty. He's a smart ass, but he knows his stuff.
Definitely.
So,
Right.
and
It's like
I always joke he gives better customer service than I do because he answers the phone a lot more than I do.
yeah, he saved my ass one night. So
Yeah, he's a great guy. We had him on here once, right? He's coming.
yeah,
Yeah, with him and Jeff, right?
yeah, and he's coming back too. Him and they're gonna go from Marty's shop this time.
Is that next year or the end of this year?
No, this year.
This year, like October, right? Maybe.
Yeah, I think it's October. Yeah.
So October, Marty from Most Speech Shop will be back on here. So
Hell yeah.
Great.
It's really cool. Like there are a lot of good people in the Crown Vic world, and I mean, Marty and Jeff know these cars so well.
Yep.
I'm really glad that they're in it, and like we've got good manufacturers that are working with us, which is really cool. So I think the F100 swap craze helped us quite a bit. Like we got Willwood to make brakes for the front. I've got friends down there that I'm like bugging weekly. Let's make rear kits. Let's do more. So I'm hoping that this year at SEMA I'll be able to reach out to a couple other companies. So like if people have parts that they want to see for these cars, like we want to bring more parts to the world. So realistic parts. I mean, don't be asking for superchargers for $2,000 because it just isn't realistic. But braided brake lines, like that's been on my list for so long. Yeah, it's like why don't we have them? That's stupid. So we're gonna push for those.
Right. Yeah.
What other? I was gonna say, what other questions do you guys have? Like, I'm seeing so many comments, but I can't. I don't know. I can scroll through some of these.
Well, we had it up there for people to ask questions, and like I said, only 2 people asked in advance. So if you got questions for the live, submit them on the post. That way we can have them in advance, and also, let people know some of the harder questions we're going to ask them before we do the interviews. So,
Uh,
um,
let me see. An oil pan that comes off without removing the engine. Um, we need a different cross member or frame
yeah,
for that to happen. As much as I hate that design. Like it's just, I mean, the oil pump is on the front, and the pickup goes down. So I mean, like you can on an O3 Plus like finagle it out if you want to, but realistically, it's just so much easier to drop that front cross member.
I see a question here from Justin Howes. I think he also owns a Marauder. Any R&D happening on upper control arms and ball joints that will take hard driving abuse over the stock parts?
Um, Other than the Moog failures, I have not seen um, a lot of failures on control arms and ball joints and stuff like that. Um, I had really wanted to work with like energy suspension and get a polyurethane bushing kit for the O3 Plus cars, but there were so many different control arm options over the years. Like I didn't want to give them a car, make a kit, and then find out, oh, Ford, changed X, Y, and Z, and it only really works on '09 to 11s or whatever the case may be.
yeah,
Um, and so I think we overthought it, and it just didn't make sense. And they also wanted big volume.
yeah,
So like I wouldn't be able to promise big volume if the year span was only a couple of years. There is a guy that's making tubular control arms now, um, and a lot of those guys are doing tubulars for like the F100 swaps, so that they can run, deeper dish wheels. And so I think I thought I saw somebody was going to make a stock length so it had all of the same dimensions, but yet still allow adjustment. Like I have no problem reaching out to that guy and potentially, selling them. I've just got to get them on my car and
I,
see if that's yes.
yeah. I was
So
actually looking. I was looking at his post earlier today, and they have the upper control arms that are at stock length, and I think then they go out 3/4 of an inch. So I think they just released those.
okay,
But they do start at stock length. He said
that's
for the
awesome.
uppers.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was,
if we could get those, like that's the other thing is I also only sell parts that I use. So I'm gonna have to get a set to really make sure that they're quality before I start selling stuff. And I'm sure that they're amazing.
yeah.
But
I think
if that's good,
I
I
think
keep cutting you off.
he's using energy suspension bushings in it, and he uses Ford stock ball joints. So
Yeah, I mean that's awesome. So if that is the case, and he's looking for somebody to help him distribute, I'm down, assuming they're good. So, but I mean, other than that, like we haven't had failures with the stock control arms. Even there was one gentleman that had issues with bushings, that was really pushing his car with very aggressive tire compounds. Um, and he came up with a fix, and I think he kind of MacGyvered something. But other than that, like I really haven't had people having failures. So that's why we really didn't look too much further into it. Like when things start breaking, that's when we start, going after it. Like the ARP Watt stud, I just had so many customers hitting me up for Watt studs. Like, okay, great, let's give a broken one to ARP and let's see if we can make it better. And I mean, the problem is we're limited by the stock design, and how the Ford engineers designed it. So we're able to make the studs stronger, but as I just found out. I mean, Russ broke his uh, drifting,
I see
and
that.
that's good. third one that I know of that's broken. I had one guy that was dirt circle track racing it and broke it, and then yeah, two guys drifting, and one of them drifting said I hit a pothole sideways. I haven't gotten the full story from Russ, but unfortunately, just with the design of that Watts stud and link, it's never going. It doesn't matter what we do, it's still gonna break, and it's better to shear off than it is to completely destroy the rear diff housing. It just is really a pain in the butt, especially because like the stud is expensive. Because I mean we're having ARP, the world's the name in fasteners, make it for us, and we can't do millions of them at a time to get that batch price down.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have to charge what we charge because of the
Small
for them.
batches.
Yeah, for them to do a batch, it's like, oh man, that's it. You sure you don't want to order more? It's like, no, I can't order more. I can't. I don't have that kind of bankroll. Sorry. Scumbag Industries. My ARP stud broke, was in an accident. Well, did it break sideways, or I'm curious on that. Manual swap clutch pedal for adjustable pedal assembly. That's difficult because the adjustable pedal stuff is right where we're mounting the clutch pedal. So we are looking at a different design for the clutch pedal that's going to give more adjustment, and how it mounts is hopefully going to give more room, but I don't know on that one. That's a good question. Custom fuel rails.
You can
We
sorry.
good.
You can keep your adjustable gas pedal with your kit. The brake pedal has to be swapped to non-adjustable. But like in my car, we just cut the cable, so I can still adjust my gas pedal. It's just the clutch pedal's not. The brake pedal's not adjustable.
Correct. So I assumed when he said adjustable pedal assembly that it was for the brake pedal, but
yeah.
I'm hoping that that's the case, because I mean, like I'm 6'3". I didn't really think of that being an issue at all. And then I had some shorter customers, and they're like, "Yeah, I need the adjustable pedal." It's like, ooh, sorry,
Well,
didn't think of that.
so one other thing I learned the hard way is if you are manual swapping your Vic and you got a P71, put put electric driver's seat in it, because the stock P71 seat with the adjustment is horrible. So put a power driver's seat in. You can get a door panel with the thing. The P71s are already all wired for it. I put an adjustable driver's seat in my car, and it makes a world of difference, because even sometimes on long trips, I'll move the seat up or back a little bit as I need. And also the being able to angle the seat makes a huge difference with the manual swap. So I was happy that I did that, because when I first did the car and it was just the stock, non-powered seat, it was a little pain in the ass at times. And then when I did the power seat in it, it made it so much better, more adjustable. So you can move your seat. May not be able to adjust the brake and the clutch pedal, but you can move your seat, the electric, a lot easier.
Getting your seating position how it needs to be is like everything for control, and I mean especially with the manual. So I mean we played around with this. I mean, this is all adjustable and bolted down, but driving in the right place makes the world of difference. On let's see here, Tree J777, would you ever produce custom fuel rails or recommend one that y'all prefer? We can do anything custom. I've actually been I've got a couple customers that are doing bigger horsepower builds and changing their car from returnless, because it's an O3 Plus car, to a return style. So we can get all of the fittings, we can get the fuel, get rid of the fuel pressure sensor and put an adjustable regulator in there. Like, we can go through all of that. So I mean, like, if there's something that you're looking for these cars that isn't on the webpage, just hit us up. If we can't do it, like, we'll just flat out tell you. But we're all about making these cars do things that they're not supposed to. So fuel rails, though, like, a lot of people think that you need to upgrade fuel rails. A lot of people think you got to upgrade injectors. You don't need to unless you're planning on bigger horsepower. So I believe, and Marty can back me up on this, I believe it's around 500 horsepower is when he recommends changing the rails, because the stock rails just aren't going to flow enough to be able to handle that. But unless you're planning on 500 plus, you really don't need rails, and you're not going to gain power by swapping.
There's another question here. Are you still having issues with the trick flow parts?
Yes. I stopped selling them.
Yeah.
I have them on this car. I love them. But I had a customer order, and I was told, like, oh God, what was it? 2 to 3 months. And then in 2 to 3 months, I contacted them and said, hey, what's the deal? Oh, it'll be another month or two. Okay. And then it just kept going. And then I had to refund the customer because he changed his build, or wasn't, I don't remember what he ended up doing. And it's like, okay, well, that's great. Now I just lost the transaction fee because they took so long. It's like, it's not worth it to me to continue to sell them if
Yeah.
they can't fulfill orders when they say they can. So I don't know if things have gotten better. I hope that they have, because they do make a good product. And I mean, I've got them on this motor, and I mean, I had them ported, and yeah, hoping for big power with this combination. But yeah, if I can't get parts in a timely manner, I just, it's not worth it for me to sell.
Yeah. That makes sense.
So do you have any other products that you're kind of developing or looking to develop?
All the Coyote stuff, I really want to get on that. I mean, like, I still want to do an off-road Vic. I still want to do, I mean, like, there's so many projects that I want to do. I just don't have the time. So I need to get somebody to come and work so that I can not be doing, order fulfillment and all of that,
Yeah.
and be developing more things. That's basically what it's coming down to.
That's what's up. You pretty much answered all of my questions, to be honest, for today. You even answered some before G even got on here. So you're like ahead of the game, at least on what I have written down. I don't know if G has any more questions for you.
Yeah, so let's take it back to so the that was your first car then?
Yeah. The couch is my first car.
Couch?
Rocky. Yeah. Rocky.
So I had this car in high school, and it had, well, actually, that video that Derek posted the other day, that was when the build started back in 2000. And JBA Racing did a lot of the finish work and got things going. And that's where I met Lonnie from Blue Oval Chips. He's the one that rewired the car, because a 92, but it ended up needing the coil on plug setup from a 98 plus. So it actually had a 2000 town car, complete wiring harness and all of that grafted into it to make it work and run and not have spark blowout issues with Paxton. It had a Paxton Novi 2000 on it back then, and now this is an upgraded Vortec YSI, because we're planning on running like 20 to 30 pounds of boost out of it, and
So,
hoping for like 800 to 1,000 to the tire. Um, but yeah, like this car, it had those god awful Fittipaldi wheels on it. It didn't have. I'm trying to think what else. Like these seats have been with it since the beginning. They're Cobra Daytona Sports that I had rewrapped to match the terrible red interior. But it was, I mean, it was a fun car, and like it was big enough that I could, take my friends around if we wanted to. And that's actually one of my friends dubbed it the rocket couch because of the back seat, and it's just like a giant sofa.
Yeah,
So
that's really cool. To have an Aero as your first car is that must have been that's really
yeah,
cool.
well, all of my friends had classic Mustangs, and I'm like, come on, let me get something cool, let me get something fast, and I made it better. I think I did Bilstein shocks, I did lowering springs, I did the wheels, I did the seats, did a dual exhaust with I think Flowmasters at the time. So yeah, it's come a long way.
And he was the guy that could give everybody a ride, so that's probably what made you
It,
keep it as well.
exactly, yeah. That's how all my friends saved on gas. They're like, "Oh yeah, Chris will drive. He'll be fine."
All 10 of us can fit in that Crown Vic.
Right?
Oh, man.
so if people aren't familiar, I'm sure everybody is, but if you want to kind of give a rundown of some of the basic, like the key stuff that you guys carry for the Panther platform.
Whew.
I mean,
Coilover suspensions for the 92 to '02 cars, sway bars for the 92 to '02 cars, um, widened steelies. As long as we can keep getting people to return cores, we'll keep doing those. Um, Supercharger systems. We've got a supercharger system for the 98 to '02 cars. We've got a supercharger system for the '03 to '11 cars. Um, Manual transmission swap kits, both 5-speed and 6-speed. Coilovers for the '03 plus cars. Um, we sell Stainless Works long tube headers, exhaust, Borla, MagnaFlow exhausts, control arms. We do Metco and the Heinous brand. Yeah, these have the heinous arms on them. Those are the old ones that have the chamfered cuts on them, which are kind of
Yep.
cool. God, what else? I mean, all the autometer gauges, the pods. Um, we we do sell the Edelbrock intake manifold swap kits, and our kits like include all the rails and fittings and stuff like that, so that you can install it on the car if your car has enough mods to make it worth it. Um, got an air suspension system for the '03 plus cars. It's on the Marauder. I don't know. I think that's enough. I think it's a lot.
so real quick, since you brought it up, and I know we talked about it earlier, let people know, because I know a lot of people were like, oh, talking about the Elderbrox with the whole issue with the Ford intakes, but also, the fact that you do need to have some pretty substantial mods in order for that intake to be effective on a 4.6.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, it's a short runner intake manifold, so you're gonna lose low end torque and horsepower. And so, like, really, if you're planning on building a naturally aspirated Vic, or if you're going to be adding a supercharger, um, you need to you need modifications to make that work really well. It's not to say that it won't work, but you're gonna floor it, and the car's not gonna move as fast as you want. It's going to be kind of a dog until it hits a certain RPM, and then it'll start to come alive.
You keep underneath those hoods really clean. Like really,
Yeah,
really.
I mean, yes, for a lot of people, this is really clean, but I'm looking at it now and I'm kind of embarrassed.
Oh man. And you don't want to see under my hood, and you can ask G. You don't want to see inside of my car.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you have to give me an hour into like a meet. My car will be clean again because
I am a neat freak, and so racing this car has actually been good for me. Like, I've got bug splatter and cracked windshield and paint chips, and I have gone off track with this car at least once or twice, or a million times, and so like it's dirty under here. Like, I'm not making it a show car. So I beat it pretty hard, and it keeps coming back for more, which is what's so great about these cars. I mean, it does get taken care of. It does get, fresh fluids and fresh pads and all that, and everything's checked out regularly. But yeah, it's weird for me to not care about appearance, and so like everything's got to be perfect, and that's just me being
so
anal.
so something as small as a car wash. Do you wash it yourself at the shop, or do you take it through a touchless car wash, or do it yourself?
The spec car never gets washed. So if Joe wants to wipe it down, then yeah, maybe. But otherwise, yeah,
Yeah.
I don't wash it. But all the other cars, normally they're wiped down and covered. Um, and if I need to wash it, like I normally, it's not that dirty, so I just waterless spray
Yeah.
detailer on it
Yeah.
and wipe it off, and it's good to go.
Nice.
Yeah, I saw you had posted a while ago, I believe, about the keeping the push bar on the spec car for the weight up front.
Yeah, it helped. I didn't really want to put it on, but I don't know. I don't think I've driven it enough with it to know whether I like it or not. But it's definitely come in really helpful around the shop, like pushing cars around, having the push bumper on it.
Yeah.
Um, the first time I pushed the couch in when we had the lift, Joe and I, it was very entertaining. We used packing peanut bag and put it between the bumpers, and
Oh,
yeah, it was a little sketchy. So having a push bumper is nice.
Yeah. I leave it because I have street parking and my neighbors can't park for whatever. So
Most people can't park to save their lives.
yeah.
Let's see.
so
Gage.
do you plan to do a spec P71 again?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm competing this year, but I'm not in it for the championship. Um, I've been I took a couple of races off just because either it wasn't my favorite track or I was busy. I had family obligations. My dog was super sick the first round, and so hanging out with him was way more important.
Yeah.
So I enjoy it, and I want to be able to go to it, but I also, like, time is very valuable to me, and so
So
like I want to pursue other things. So like I've got to get the couch done. I want to do drag and drive events. um, so it's really just gonna, push comes to shove, just time. That's
yeah,
basically it.
yep, I get
But
that.
yeah, I mean, as long as I can, I want to. And like, trying out, all the different tracks. It's so much fun driving these cars around on a track, and people are just like, "You're doing what? What?" We're like, they're watching us out on track, and they're like, "Y'all are crazy.
Yeah,
I cannot believe that you're driving these boats on on a road race course. I mean, like there's one BMW guy came up to the group when we were at Laguna Seca, and he's like, "What have you done to these cars to be able to do what you're doing?" And we're like, I mean, it's got stock Ford police brake pads and rotors on it. They're like, "You're going that fast into these corners, and I mean, like we late brake, and it's really intimidating for a lot of other cars because they see this giant car closing down on them, and they end up screwing up the next corner because they're so focused on the rear view mirror. It's kind of funny.
Speed too.
What's that?
At that speed too, like the highest at top speed, that must be intimidating.
Yeah. Well, my friend's friend that drag races the Mustangs, and he does road course stuff with the Mustang, another Mustang, and everything. I was hanging out with them on Wednesday. We went down to the beach, and I was telling him about it. I showed him the spec P71 stuff, and he was pretty amazed. He was like, "Holy crap, those big ass cars!"
Yeah. These cars are huge.
It's a lot of fun. I really I know that there's, I think it's, what is it, Spec Panther, that there's a couple. I want to say there's like some Spec Panther up in like the northern, like northeastern coast, and I feel like there's also like some spec road racing Panther down in, I want to say, in the south somewhere, but I really want to see more people do it because you can drive your car, you can learn how to drive your car better, and all for stupid cheap. I mean, in the grand scheme of life, I mean, they just keep taking the abuse, which is awesome.
Yeah, there's even some Crown Vic races up here near me in New Hampshire, actually, which is pretty cool. But those are more like derby races, kind of. But they're still pushing Crown Vic to the limit. So
the circle track guys are just taking the Crown Vic world by storm. Like there are so many people doing it, and it's the same thing with the drift thing. Like I kind of want to go build a circle track car now. Like I want to, like I want to be in every avenue of Crown Vic. But I don't know the first thing about circle track other than I, watched NASCAR back in the day with Dale Sr. So I'd have a lot to learn.
Well, you got a garage that's in your room, right?
Yeah.
The way I drive, I don't know if I'd keep up with a lot of people. I mean, I can drive pretty good, but like I always tell everybody, I'm the slow guy of the group.
We can fix that.
I drive the slow.
The only way we could fix it is if you or I use our push bar on him at speed. We have a joke that Derek's foot can't extend past to go like 70 miles an hour.
Yeah, like 70, 75 is my limit. I mean, and my car's stock right now, so I'm like, driving that fast isn't. You can listen to the engine and the motor, but I miss having an exhaust in the car.
Yeah. No, I mean, exhaust makes you drive it maybe a little bit more aggressively just because it sounds so good. But yeah, I don't know. I think we need to get you out on track, and then hopefully like the light switch will get turned on. You'll be like, oh, I get it. Let's go fast now.
Right now I'm driving it like the person that I bought it from, the old man.
Well, I'm sure your car appreciates it, though.
Yeah, definitely does. I can imagine.
Yeah, well, he wasn't able to make it, but we had talked with the Spec Panther guys, and they were going to take Derek out on the course. I was like, you got to put a GoPro on Derek's face.
I probably won't. Top speed, I think Bloomberg went, and top speed was like 115 in his car. Like,
yeah, what is that? Mid Ohio. He actually in novice class, I think he turned the fastest times in the novice class in his Grand Marquis versus Corvettes, Porsches, everything else.
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think like a 4-door stock motor Grand Marquis had better lap times than you in a Porsche or a Corvette. Like,
It's it's hilarious. Yeah, there are a lot of people that are not fans of the Crown Vic on the racetrack just because they're embarrassed. I mean, like they're driving significantly faster cars. Like there's no denying a Viper is faster than a Marauder, but the driver in the Viper was not anywhere near as advanced as the driver that was in the Marauder, and the Marauder was all over the Viper, and the Viper gave him the point by. It's like, wow, didn't think I'd ever see that happen.
Yeah, it's like how much did that, how much do these, the P-71s and everything cost versus, brand new Corvettes and Porsches? Like you could have
Exactly.
six, eight, P-71s for the price of one of those cars.
Oh, yeah,
So
yeah. If not significantly more.
yeah, oh man, but
Let's see.
trying to
What
say
other?
things.
Oh, 380 Motorsports. Those guys are cool. After watching him going on Bonneville, oh my God! Now I want to
Oh
build a top speed car. It's like, come on.
Yeah, he's
yeah,
actually in one of the upcoming magazines. He's actually a really cool guy.
yeah, he's actually somebody that I wanted to hit up about getting on here for next year. Because we locked in Can Shift will be on with us in January,
That's
so we'll
awesome.
start booking guests for next year. We're
Yep.
trying to we asked Derek to get a hold of the Meteor Interceptor guys because we would love to get them on here, but I know the time difference would probably be too crazy for them. But
What's crazy is they're supposed to be making a Panther spotlight video for the YouTube channel, and
Those
they
those guys
visited,
are crazy.
yeah, they visited like two different countries at that time. And he hit me up like yesterday. He's like, "Hey, sorry, we're in China on vacation." So those guys are all over the place. But I'll definitely see if they want to get on the live here. That would be insane too.
Anything
So
else you guys want to see or
another
any
question is, when are you gonna start doing like free Panther giveaway?
free Panther giveaways? I
A-
mean,
ADTR presents giving away free Panthers.
yeah, you know, I have thought about that. I mean, like step one is going to be getting our YouTube channel going because that has been a topic of conversation for a while that needs to
Yeah,
get done.
I mean editing takes a lot of work too, so I understand that. You guys are pretty busy already.
Well, my biggest problem is I'm a perfectionist, and so like as soon as I see myself on camera and I'm like, oh, I said that wrong, it's like, oh, I just need to just freaking put it out there.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, that has been a thought. I mean, there's so many thoughts of things, cool things to
I
do,
believe.
but ultimately it's always just time.
Yeah, I believe it.
yeah, well, I mean, especially since you're doing all the shipping and everything else, like getting money coming in is the priority.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I need to keep the lights on, but at the same time, I'd much rather just be out here doing car stuff. That sounds a lot more fun.
It does. I think me and you had this conversation at one point.
What's that?
Doing car stuff will keep you out of trouble.
Yeah,
Sometimes, to an extent.
yeah. I mean, like all I wanted to do was car stuff with my car friends, and then everybody went and you know had kids and are productive members of society, and or moved away. So it's like, all right, great. So now I need to find more car friends.
Yeah.
So what's under the tarp up top?
Oh, that's the
Under the tarp, well,
Marauder.
car cover. Oh, that's a Marauder. Yeah, that thing
Yeah,
is beautiful, man.
it's yeah, tucked away, waiting for the motor. So, but yeah,
So,
it's
did anything anything crazy with the motor, or
no, just for it's I don't know. this is supposed to be the reliable car, and I don't need to make another race car. Famous last words. But now that it's got a built bottom end, it's like, okay, great, I should turn up the boost. But then if I turn up the boost, then I need bigger injectors, because then I'm going to probably be running E85. And then, with E85, you got to drive it all the time, or you got to drain it. It just spirals out of control. So I think it's going to stay as is, just with good internals, and still be pushing like 420 to 450-ish to the tire, and just leave it at that, because I don't want to have to deal with running octane booster. I don't want to deal with race gas, or blending things to get a certain octane. And California's stuck with a terrible 91 octane fuel that octane rating is probably more like an 87. So you're very limited with how spicy you can make it. Lonnie and I made 620 to the tire on 91 with the couch project before it blew up, and it ran amazing. And like, I wanted to be able to have a car that's able to run pump gas and not have to run race gas all the time.
Yeah.
But then the next time we went to go perfect it, that's when it lifted the heads, and then that's when I'm just like, enough is enough. I'm done. I'm not necessarily a smart person for sticking with the 4.62 valve and trying to push it as hard as I am, but I'm stubborn, and we're going to see if we can try and make this work and make 800 to 1,000 with a 4.62 valve with a lot of boost. I think it's going to be fun. If it blows up again, we'll probably be talking about something else.
Well, I mean,
I've always wanted to do a Navigator 5.4 4 valve, but that's like, it's old technology now. And I'm dating myself. Like, why would I put in a 5.4 4 valve when I could do, a 5.0 Coyote and go down that road and make more power? So I don't know. We'll see. I'm just hoping that this stays together for a while so that I can actually enjoy it. I really don't want to have to take this damn thing apart again.
well, I mean, that's got to be like 95% of your customer base anyway, or more, is the 2-valve 4.6. So,
Right. It's like, I could have probably made more power with a different motor, having the tunability of like turbos or twin turbos and all of that. But it's like, I sell supercharger systems. If my race car is not running a supercharger, like, what am I doing, right? Like, it needs to help better the business, and this blower is more than sufficient to make power. It's the 4.62 valve. Even with the best of the best, ported trick flow heads, it still flows terrible compared to other motors. So that's why you got to run, Vortec estimates about 30 pounds of boost to make 1,000 rear wheel horsepower. So I don't know. We'll see how that goes. That's a lot. That's a lot of boost.
Which Vortec do you have on that? Which V?
It's the YSI B.
Oh, okay.
So it is. It's big. It's meant for race only. It's going to make all of the right noises.
Nice. Well, I mean, this is like the conversation that we had like last week is the same kind of thing. It's like, with this 5.4, I could drop it in and put a Lightning supercharger on it, but I'm just going to build it and just do it one time, and hopefully it just stays together and not have to pull it apart again. So.
Yeah, just especially when you spend so much time making it perfect, put it all together, like that last round of dyno testing, when it, like, we just got it put back together, went to go dyno it, and it blew up. It's just like, damn it. That is like the worst feeling. and it's not like it's cheap.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
It's crazy.
It's like you were just there and you were so expectant, and then it's like, guess what?
Nope.
Yeah, so close, and then yeah, nope, other plans.
That's messed up. That's awesome.
Oh, all right. Trying to think, what else is cool? What else can I show you?
Is it true that the ADTR stickers give you more horsepower?
Oh, obviously.
Uh,
I, I mean, any stickers, right?
yeah.
Automatically are going to give you power.
You dip them in nitrous before you send them, right?
Well, yeah, and then yeah, we could do that.
Maybe
Um,
that'll make me drive faster if I get a sticker.
let's see. Well, you know what? Like we've shown this car. Has anybody seen the Faster with New Burn and Cotton
I've noticed
episode
that.
that they did?
I've noticed that car, but I don't think I've ever even seen that car on your page. Maybe.
Yeah.
It's it got jumped by Hot Rod Garage, and it damaged the whole radiator core support, all that. It's got coilovers, it's got sway bars, it's got a bunch of stuff. They basically built it to compete with the Spec P71 series. So there's a whole episode on Motor Trend, the Faster with New Burn and Cotton show, where they came out. You'll see Ginger on the racetrack, which was kind of cool, along with a couple other uh, competitors that day at Willow Springs Raceway, and yeah, we got to go race around in, God, I think it was like 110-degree heat that day, or 107. It was something ridiculous, and then they basically bought a bunch of parts to modify their 2011, and then went out there to try and beat our fastest driver. And it's kind of a cool episode.
Another
To
question:
check them out.
do all the cars in that shop have AC? They have to.
Yes.
Right.
No. Well, not the couch. The couch is going to be just the dedicated race car, and because I'm old and overweight and always run hot, I'll probably put like a cool suit in it or something like that, just so that my ass doesn't fry.
Yeah.
But yeah, every car has AC.
Right. I know a lot of
Gotta
guys
gotta have it.
drive around in the summer with no AC. My AC went out, and my windows have been down all summer. I just haven't had time to fix it, and it's such an easy fix too.
It's yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I always run hot, so like all my cars pretty much have to have AC.
Yeah.
But I pulled the AC out of the couch, and I mean, like I put the cage in, and so the AC stuff would have needed to come out anyway. But
Yeah.
it'd be really nice to put AC back in that. But again, it's supposed to be a race car, so I'm not going to do that.
You was
Maybe
about to say something?
look into Vintage Air. They do a lot of AC stuff for like old muscle cars and everything.
Yeah.
So you might be able to do something like that. At least give you something if you need it.
I mean, that's a possibility. I don't know. I think I just need to man up and send it.
Sweat it out.
Exactly. Other than that, I'm trying to think. There's nothing else like super cool. Um, yeah, I mean, always looking for more projects. I just don't have any time, so it's like, all right, I'm gonna focus on the projects that I got, and then we'll reevaluate.
That's
Right.
cool.
Yeah, I need to get out of here. I know you got a lot of stuff, so you got to go back to work again tomorrow. I know things are long days for you with everything. So
Mondays are always entertaining.
Oh,
yeah,
So, well, cool.
the
Well,
fun
thank you guys very much.
appreciate it.
I'm sorry I cut you off.
I said no. I said the fun of retail.
Oh,
Yes. Yeah, definitely. That's always fun. But thank you guys very much for having me on, and hopefully it was enjoyable for everybody that watched. And yeah, if y'all have any questions, hit us up on ADTR.
Yeah,
yes, thank you
and
for joining. I'm glad we finally got to meet. We've been talking for a while. Thank you for supporting Panther Magazine all these years so far. So,
Oh, no, dude,
uh,
love what you're doing. And like I said, more exposure for these cars, the better.
yep,
And one of these years, I will make it to Carlisle. That will be a pretty cool
done.
meetup.
Yeah, man.
Every year I see the coverage, and I'm just like, oh, I got to get out there. So
Yeah, you'd probably
one
be a
of these
celebrity
years.
if you showed up to Carlisle. You'd be a celebrity. I'm pretty sure.
Well, but then I got to get a car out there. So I don't know.
Yeah, towing and
yeah.
all that stuff. So,
Well, I mean, and two, we'd love to maybe, later next year get you back on again, update, stuff that's going on and everything. So, you're always welcome. Or if you got something, you got something special coming up, let us know. We can always jump on live for a special and, whatever we can do to help you out, man. We're always down.
totally.
I'm down. Hopefully next time I'm on here, I have more running cars.
Yeah.
Actually, when you get the couch running again, we should jump on one night.
Definitely, I'm down for that.
That'll be sick.
But that's super cool that that's, your first car and you still have it.
Oh yeah, I can't. Yeah, I can't sell everything that I've sold. You instantly regret selling it. So yeah, as far as my kids are concerned, they're like, yeah, I'm getting the rocket couch. Oh, I'm getting the Marauder. So I'm like, all right, well, don't. Yeah, let me be cold in the ground first before y'all start fighting about my cars. Okay.
Hey, that's cool though. That's really cool.
Yeah.
But, all right, man.
All right,
Well, thank you.
guys.
And yeah, definitely. Anytime you want to jump on or you got something going on, let us know.
Cool. Well, thank you guys very much. I appreciate it.
No
All right,
problem.
man.
You.
All right.
All right.
Take care.
All right.
You guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Yes, sir.
Bye,
Have a
everybody.
great night.